This is what 5 inches of rain in a single hour does to a drought-baked hillside. Recently, this massive flow of debris spilled over a major LA freeway, taking with it 100 cars and stranding passengers. But that's nothing compared to what may happen this winter if an epic El Nino arrives.
Take those small events and have it rain longer over a large area. That'll give you sort of an image of how things could go badly.
Geologist Jeff Mount is an expert on California's rivers and water supply.
We are not ready as a state for the very large floods.
To keep floodwaters under control, California has over 13,000 miles of levees, which have been called a mess, a Katrina-type disaster poised to flood California.
There's 2 kinds of levees, those that have failed and those that will fail. Eventually, your levee system will be overwhelmed. And so the question we always have every year, is this the year? Is this the year that the levee system somewhere is overwhelmed?
The California Delta, just outside of Sacramento, encompasses nearly 1,000 miles of waterways, and it's home to thousands of people and the state capital.
Hello.
We went there to see why water officials are so worried about this winter's El Nino.
Hey, I'm Jake.
Hi, Jake. Mike Mearswa.
We're on the highest ground available, huh?
Always when you're on top of a levee.
What are these guys doing over here? Will you show me?
Yeah, let's walk on over there and check it out.
Mike Mearswa is an engineer with the California Department of Water Resources. He spots a major levee repair going on here, and he shows it to us. It's a fix that costs $5 to $10 million per mile. It's a rehab that apparently rarely happens.
Something of this scale, maybe once a decade, if that.
Repairs are crucial. For decades, report after report has warned of possible levee breaks in the Delta. There's one area Mike is particularly worried about.
I want to take you down to Sherman Island. It's about a half-hour south, downstream on the river here. It's an area that when you get a winter storm come through, it's going to have water racing onto the top of the levee.
On the way, we drive on top of the levees, crisscrossing over bridges, passing farmland and homes.
We're working our way up to sea level here. A portion of this island is actually located below sea level.
At first, it's not exactly clear what the problem is.
This is a very peaceful setting, but you're talking about this being sort of the ground zero. Why is that?
This is one of the lowest points in the system, and I would not be a bit surprised if this winter that we had waves crashing over these levees taller than you.
Wow. That seems unimaginable.
Given a strong enough storm, it may be a reality with catastrophic results.
This isn't just some local problem. Let me show you what is at stake. You have not just the people living right up against the levee whose homes might be threatened. You've also got farmland, tens of thousands of acres of it that produce fruits and vegetables that people buy all across the United States. Then on this side, you have the San Joaquin River. The water supply for 25 million people, both Northern and Southern California, moves through this body of water. And if it gets over this levee, suddenly salt water will get into that drinking water supply and ruin LA, San Francisco, and beyond. All of that is only being held back by piles of rock like this.
Delta residents we spoke with are afraid of the El Nino. At the corner bank in Rio Vista, we met Sarah Cummings. Her home is right up against a levee.
If the levee breaks, like I said, we wouldn't have, I wouldn't have enough notice if the levee broke anywhere near to get out, because the levee road is my way out.
In Walnut Grove, we ran into another resident.
Oh, this is the Sacramento River over here, and you can see where that's the levee right there. If we get, say, 3 or 4 days of rain in a row, these levees will not be able to sustain the pressure.
A state report suggests the worst-case scenario would see 500 dead, 300,000 displaced, and a $25 billion price tag. Even Sacramento could be under 20 feet of water. Driving around here, you can't help but wonder, why were people allowed to build on a floodplain so close to the water?
You're at the very roots of the problem, so we're kind of stuck with more than a century of historic bad choices. We colonized the floodplains and took our natural shock absorber out. And so now when floods come, they come fast, they come hard, the water rises quickly because it's got nowhere else to go.
As if the state doesn't have enough to worry about this winter, just a few hours south in the Central Valley, there's a cruel irony. The drought that has gripped California for years may make flooding even more dangerous. Why? Well, increased groundwater drilling has made the land shrink. It's called subsidence, and one recent study suggests it's threatening the levees. We headed to Dos Palos to meet local resident and water expert Chase Hurley.
So this is ground zero. So what's happened in this area, the ground has subsided.
Hurley scrambles down the dirt levee to show us what's happening.
So you can see the gap there, and some of that is the after effects of subsidence.
The original columns no longer support the bridge. The land has literally dropped away beneath it, 5 feet in 4 years. And erosion makes it worse.
Now, all the land has the potential to be underwater.
Subsidence has created a deep hole here. When a rush of water fills that hole, it then has to go somewhere.
It'll go over the top of those levees. So you can see you have grapevines, you have alfalfa, you have almond trees, you've got a local school that's only like 1.5 miles away and it's downstream. You've got 2 big dairies that are right here.
All of that is in the way if El Nino delivers big storms this winter. And look at what we found a few miles away. This canal is already about to go over the overpass.
That was never supposed to be even where it's at now. You should be able to look underneath that bridge and see air all the way to the other side.
He told us about problems with another canal a mile away. And sure enough, we find that it is buckling and crumbling. The land here is also sinking, making flooding even more dangerous. Mother Nature may be giving California a 1-2 punch. First, a record drought, and then a possibly catastrophic El Nino. But according to Jeff Mount, it's not just Mother Nature that's to blame. It's decades of neglect of California's infrastructure.
But we stopped paying for this stuff a long time ago, so why should we be shocked? We have the nerve to be surprised that these systems are falling down around our ears, that our bridges are failing, that our roadways are failing. We chose not to pay for it.
But the truth is that California and the nation will pay, one way or another. The question is whether the bill comes due this winter. Jacob Ward, Al Jazeera, Sacramento.